Why is every short that you watch really pretty wrong? Like, if you're watching as many shorts as I do and as many shorts as, let's face it, everyone in the world does now, you notice that they tend to get more wrong than right and are kind of frustrating. And the other thing I want to talk about is why do they seem to get so many more views than their longer video form counterpart? Yes, I know the simple answer is our attention spans are getting so much worse. But no, that is not the case. So let me start out by just making this statement. The shorter you make a statement, the stronger it is, but the less true it is. Now, even that statement probably needs qualifications, but let's play a little game to tease this out. First, I'm going to say something that is going to be mostly universally agreed upon in music, and then I'm going to say something that is going to be mostly universally despised in music, but we're going to start with both of them, and we're going to tease them out until they become something that, to be honest, almost anyone in their right mind would agree with. So we're going to start out with piano is the most versatile instrument. What do I mean by that? I mean that piano, if you play the piano, you're going to be able to do the most things. You're going to be able to play higher than everyone, play lower than everyone, play faster than everyone, play more notes than anyone, cover more different parts, create more different sounds, etc., etc., etc. Now, I'm already hearing people complaining. They're going, well, you can't bend notes, unlike guitar. Well, you're not going to have a beautiful singing sound and the breathing aspect of the instrument the way that you may in like oboe or flute. All of these things are true, and there are reasons why you would consider another instrument more versatile than the piano. But as a general statement, it's something that most people would agree with, but not all. How can we make the statement better? Well, the first thing we can do is we can change it from piano to keyboard instruments. Now it's actually a broader statement, and it's more complicated. Keyboard instruments are the most versatile type of instrument. And then you go, keyboard instruments are one of the. Now we literally just went from a statement that had maybe an 80% agreement, because let's face it, piano probably is the most versatile instrument. Argue with me if you want in the comments, we can talk about it. To a statement that has 99.99% agreement. There's only going to be a few people who mostly just want to argue that would be upset by the concept of keyboard instruments being one of the most versatile instruments. Let's do this thought experiment the other way, how we can take a very short statement, start with something that is going to piss a lot of people off, and then broaden it out to something that is much more agreed upon. Never practice scales. An absolutely awful statement. If you're involved in music in general, you're probably hating that I just said that. Now, again, this is not a universally agreed upon despised statement. I would say it's probably only, I don't know, maybe 60% or 70% of serious musicians would just immediately be revulsed and be like, ugh. There's a small percentage that would be like, oh yeah, I don't practice scales, you don't really need them. But let's change the statement a little bit. Never practice scales over pieces. That may be an interesting take, being like, hey, your time is constricted. You should always do that. Never practice scales if it makes you lose the love of the instrument. Whoa, a lot longer statement, but now immediately we're talking maybe 90% agreement at that point. Never practice scales that you don't intend to use. Again, another statement that's more complicated, but also would have a far more significant support basis. As you add words and context, it becomes more defensible. And you can do this from both extremes. You can do it from a statement that already is heavily disliked and then make it a favorable one. Or you can take a statement that has almost universal agreement and then make it even more agreeable. But why do we prefer the more condensed version? I can tell you right now, I'm going to get way more clicks on a short that says piano is the most versatile instrument than one where I say keyboard instruments are one of the most versatile instruments. Maybe I'll do a little science experiment after this video on that. Why? It's not in spite of, but it's because it's more incendiary. It makes you have to make a choice. And then we can argue. And I hate to tell you, because you probably don't want to hear this, people love to argue. People love to be right. And once you get to a broad statement with general agreement, now the ability to really be super right is kind of taken away. It just kind of turns into this gray that's no fun anymore. So the truth is, in many ways, we need both. We need statements that get an emotional rise out of someone and makes them have to make a stand and kind of have preferences and things that they enjoy. Like, for example, I really agree with the statement, piano is the most versatile instrument. And guess what? I love playing the piano. But if you're in the other camp saying like, hey, a wind instrument is the most versatile instrument because of what you can do with it, right? The different sounds. You can get so many more versatile sounds out of a wind instrument than out of the piano. Or maybe the wind instrument player is the most versatile musician. Consider a saxophonist who can double on flute, saxophone, clarinet, all the way through. In many ways, that's a much more versatile musician than someone who can only play the piano. That makes us different, and that's a good thing, and that's not a bad thing. And in many ways, I would like to actually have both short form content. I'd like to have me making a video about the piano and you making a video about that wind instrumentalist. On the other hand, we need longer form content to tease these ideas out and make them more nuanced. That way you can kind of put out a headline in the form of a short and then pull it back to a much more complicated, nuanced discussion where we can learn to agree to disagree or learn to agree on a more broad, more baseline foundational statement. If you pay attention, the platforms that are going to the extremes tend to be doing the best. You have videos that are 3, 4, 5 hours long discussing things at length. These garner millions and millions of views because people want in-depth, serious conversations. At the same time, videos that have 5-second playtime, 10-second playtime do incredibly well because at the same time, people just want that quick hit of dopamine, that quick agree, disagree, boom, next video, type an angry comment, all done. Now, let me get back to the attention span thing for one more second. In reality, I think there's two big things going on. The first is that it's not an attention span lessening. It's a change in efficiency and expectation of efficiency. If I'm trying to learn a specific skill, let's say I want to learn altered scales on the piano. In the past, I would have to go to a textbook, find what an altered scale is, or pay a piano teacher money, and they might spend 2, 3, 4 lessons. So we're talking hours of my time, hundreds of dollars invested to find out what the answer is. And then we started getting video. At that point, now it went from hours of my time to maybe an hour of my time in early days of YouTube, video tutorials, etc. Nowadays, we've gone from an hour to potentially only 10, 20 seconds if I really know what I'm looking for, or even if I don't know what I'm looking for, I can type it in AI, start to get the right answer. Yeah, it's probably going to be the wrong answer, to be honest, especially if it's music questions in AI, but it'll give you a starting place. You can use that, then throw it over to YouTube, go from there. That is really why I think the videos have gotten shorter. We have become more efficient, except for the things that require nuance, because as I said, making something shorter does not inherently make it better, even if you are more concise. I'm Robert Monroe. I hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, I hope you have a great day.